Do you remember what you said in those final FaceTime
I
moments?
told her, I go, well, the water's getting choppy. And I said, I love you, and call me. Call me when you get off the water.
4 years have elapsed since the heartbreaking drowning of actress Naya Rivera. Yet the sorrow and uncertainties surrounding her demise remain unresolved. In an unexpected turn, her family has decided to reveal their thoughts, stirring both past grief and new revelations about the tragic incident. As they reveal their perspective, the public is left in stunned contemplation, as these new insights have the potential to reshape the collective understanding of this devastating loss. Let's begin the tragic story of Naya Rivera. According to Yolanda Prevetire, Rivera's mother, on July 8, 2020, Rivera had planned a leisurely day by the lake with her 4-year-old son. They set out in the early afternoon, leaving the dock at around 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The plan was to enjoy a barbecue and spend some quality time together. However, the day took a devastating turn. As part of their outing, Rivera and Josie decided to rent a boat once they arrived at Lake Piru. They had an estimated return time of 4 p.m., which was 3 hours after their departure. The expectation was that they would return within this window, but when they failed to show up by the anticipated time, concern began to grow. A search operation was initiated later that day when the boat was reported overdue. The situation escalated into a full-scale rescue mission, with authorities combing the lake and its surroundings. The urgency of the search was compounded by the fact that Rivera and her son were missing under circumstances that suggested potential danger. Around 5 p.m., the searchers found the boat drifting and empty. The boat, which was rented by Rivera, had been left adrift on the lake with Josie alone on board. The young boy was discovered sleeping peacefully and was wearing a life jacket, which likely contributed to his safety and survival. His condition was stable, but the situation raised immediate concerns about Rivera's whereabouts. Ventura County Sheriff's Office investigators interviewed Josie to piece together the events leading up to the incident. The young boy recounted that he and his mother had jumped into the lake together. They had taken a brief swim before Rivera instructed him to return to the boat. Unfortunately, the boat began to drift away and rock violently, an effect that was exacerbated by the strong winds that day. Ryan Dorsey's lawsuit later highlighted that wind speeds reached up to 21 miles per hour, 34 kilometers per hour, in the afternoon, which likely contributed to the boat's instability. According to police reports, her 4-year-old son, Josie Dorsey, vividly remembered the critical moments of their outing. Rivera had initially assisted Josie in climbing back into their rented boat after they had briefly swum in the lake. However, she faced severe difficulties in doing the same. In the chaotic and wind-battered conditions, Rivera struggled to reboard the boat. Reports indicate that, despite her efforts, she was unable to climb back on board and ultimately disappeared beneath the water's surface. The struggle was visible to Josie, who witnessed his mother reaching up from the water and calling out for help. This harrowing scene was etched in his memory as he frantically looked for a rope on the boat, hoping to aid his mother in her desperate plight. The lawsuit filed by Ryan Dorsey, the father of Josie and Rivera's former husband, provides a slightly different perspective on the events. According to the lawsuit, Josie managed to climb aboard the boat on his own, while Rivera continued to struggle. This version of the account highlights the dire circumstances under which Rivera was operating. Her struggle to return to the boat while her young son watched helplessly from above. Both accounts, however, converge on the critical moment of Rivera's struggle. Josie's testimony is consistent in detailing that he saw his mother reaching out and calling for help, underscoring the gravity of her situation. The search for a rope on the boat reflects the young boy's instinctive attempt to assist his mother in her time of need, a small but poignant act of courage amidst the tragedy. An important detail from Josie's account is that Rivera was not wearing a life jacket at the time of her struggle. This fact is significant as it underscores the potential for enhanced safety that a life jacket might have provided. While Josie was protected by his life jacket, which undoubtedly contributed to his safety and survival, Rivera's lack of similar protection in such perilous conditions contributed to the tragic outcome. The tragic incident involving Naya Rivera and her young son Josie Dorsey at Lake Piru has been the subject of intense scrutiny and investigation, with authorities piecing together the events that led to Rivera's death. Ventura County Sheriff's officials have provided critical insights into the likely factors contributing to the accident. According to the sheriff's assessment, it is highly probable that Rivera and Josie encountered a rip current while swimming in Lake Piru. Rip currents are narrow, fast-moving channels of water that flow away from the shore, and they are known to occur in various bodies of water, including lakes. The area of Lake Piru, where Rivera and Josie were swimming, is known for such currents, particularly during the afternoon hours when wind patterns can exacerbate their formation. The presence of a rip current would have made it exceedingly difficult for Rivera and her son to return to their boat. Rip currents are notorious for their ability to pull swimmers away from their intended path, making it challenging to swim back to a stationary object like a boat. This would explain why Rivera and Josie faced significant difficulty in their attempts to get back on board. The boat, which was found drifting and unanchored, likely exacerbated the situation. Without an anchor to secure it, the boat could have easily been carried away from the point where they initially entered the water. As a result, Rivera and Josie would have found themselves struggling against both the rip current and the drifting boat. The sheriff concluded that Rivera's actions during the incident demonstrated an immense level of bravery and selflessness. The evidence suggests that Rivera exerted a significant amount of energy to ensure her son's safety. Josie's account supports this conclusion, as he described how his mother helped him get back onto the boat. It appears that Rivera mustered the strength to push Josie onto the boat, possibly saving him from the dangers of the rip current and the drifting vessel. However, the exertion required to assist her son and combat the adverse conditions likely drained Rivera's own strength. On July 8, 2020, the events at Lake Piru took a grave turn as the search for Naya Rivera unfolded in the late afternoon. At approximately 5 p.m., authorities discovered Rivera's 4-year-old son, Josie Dorsey, alone on the boat. The boat was located in the Narrows, a section of the lake known for its deep waters and often turbulent conditions, which can become quite windy, adding to the complexity of the situation. Upon finding Josie, a 911 call was immediately placed, prompting a formal search and rescue operation. This call set into motion a coordinated effort involving multiple agencies and personnel. The urgency of the situation was underscored by the challenging conditions in the Narrows, which added a layer of difficulty to the search efforts. The depth of the water and the strong winds in this area could have significantly hindered the rescue operation. The boat itself was subjected to a thorough search. Among the items found on board were an adult life jacket and Rivera's identification. The presence of the life jacket, presumably intended for Rivera, indicated that some safety measures had been taken, although the fact that Rivera was not wearing it when she was last seen is a critical detail. The identification provided important information about the boat's occupants, confirming Rivera's presence on the vessel and aiding in the search efforts. As evening approached, Josie was interviewed by authorities. The interview was a crucial part of the investigation, providing insights into the events leading up to the incident. Josie's account, detailing his mother's actions and the circumstances they encountered, would help authorities piece together the sequence of events and understand the challenges they faced. In parallel to the search efforts on the lake, Rivera's black Mercedes G-Class was found in the parking lot near the dock. The vehicle's location was significant, as it indicated where Rivera and her son had begun their outing. The presence of the vehicle confirmed that they had arrived at the lake and, by extension, that the events unfolded as reported. On the evening of July 8, 2020, after discovering her young son Josie Dorsey alone on the drifting boat, the Ventura County Sheriff's Office made the difficult decision to suspend the search and rescue operation for the night. The search was called off due to darkness and the challenging conditions on the lake, with plans to resume the following day. The lake was closed to the public as the search and recovery efforts intensified. Dive teams from across the region were mobilized to assist in the operation. The extensive search involved numerous personnel and specialized equipment, reflecting the seriousness of the situation and the commitment to finding Rivera. On July 9th, the Sheriff's Department formally confirmed to NBC News that Naya Rivera was presumed dead. The shift from rescue to recovery was based on the available evidence and the circumstances reported by Josie. The initial search efforts had included attempts to find Rivera on land, considering the possibility that she might have exited the lake. However, the lack of evidence supporting this possibility, combined with Josie's account of seeing his mother disappear underwater, led authorities to focus their efforts on recovering her body. In addition to the search efforts, the Sheriff's Office released closed-circuit television, CCTV footage, showing Rivera and her son arriving at the parking lot and subsequently leaving the dock on their rented boat. This footage provided crucial information about their movements and timeline, aiding in the investigation and search planning. By July 10th, the scale of the search operation underwent a significant adjustment. The number of divers involved was reduced from around 100 to approximately 40. This reduction was due to the poor visibility in the lake, which made underwater searching increasingly difficult. The Sheriff's Department explained that the low visibility rendered traditional diving techniques less effective. As a result, sonar devices became the primary tool for locating Rivera, given their ability to detect objects in murky water. Alongside the use of sonar, sniffer dogs were also employed in the search efforts. These dogs were trained to detect human scent and were used to cover the lake's surface and surrounding areas, adding another layer of capability to the operation. As the search for Naya Rivera continued into July 11th and 12th, the effort to locate her became a deeply personal and highly visible operation. Rivera's family and close friends, deeply affected by the unfolding tragedy, joined the search efforts at Lake Peru, bringing an emotional and significant dimension to the operation. On July 11th, Rivera's parents, stepfather, and her brother, Michael Rivera, arrived at the lake to assist in the search. They were joined by Rivera's ex-husband, Ryan Dorsey, and Heather Morris, a close friend and co-star from the TV show Glee. Morris, in particular, was deeply involved in the search, driven by her close relationship with Rivera. She had expressed a strong desire to help and had been in frequent contact with Sheriff's Captain Eric Bushow, who was overseeing the search operations. Morris's familiarity with Captain Bushow, who she knew from previous interactions, facilitated her involvement in the search efforts. Morris's plan to conduct a personal search around the shoreline was indicative of the urgency and personal stakes involved. However, the Sheriff's Office advised against civilians conducting their own searches due to the dangerous terrain around the lake. The terrain, coupled with the ongoing search and recovery operations, presented significant hazards, making it crucial to manage the search efforts carefully and safely. The Sheriff's Office reiterated their commitment to searching both on land and in the lake. They had expanded their search resources significantly, incorporating the support of neighboring counties and a private contractor to bolster their efforts. This broader assistance reflected the scale and complexity of the search operation, as well as the determination to find Rivera amidst the challenging conditions. On the morning of July 13th, 2020, the search for Naya Rivera took a somber turn when a body was discovered floating in Lake Peru. The search resumed early that day, and around 9:30 a.m., divers found the body in the lake. This discovery was a pivotal moment in the search operation, bringing both a resolution to the intensive search and a profound sense of tragedy. The body was found just north of Diablo Cove, a location within the lake known for its challenging conditions. The area where the body was discovered was described as being in close proximity to where Rivera and her son had been earlier. The sheriff's office indicated that the body had likely been trapped in underwater vegetation before resurfacing. This detail suggested that the body had been submerged and caught in the lake's natural features, which could have complicated the search and contributed to the difficulty in locating Rivera. Later that day, a press conference was held where it was confirmed that the body was indeed that of Naya Rivera. The announcement marked a painful conclusion to the search and provided a definitive answer to the ongoing concerns and speculations surrounding the case. The confirmation was made by Sheriff's Captain Eric Buschow, who provided details about the recovery and the circumstances of the discovery. Rivera was officially declared dead on July 13, 2020. This date was recorded on her death certificate, which also noted that she had died within minutes. The phrasing of "within minutes" reflected the likely rapidity with which the tragic events unfolded after Rivera's struggle in the lake, underscoring the suddenness and severity of the situation she faced. The discovery of Rivera's body and the subsequent confirmation of her identity marked the end of an exhaustive search effort. It was a moment of profound grief for her family, friends, and fans, who had been closely following the developments and hoping for a different outcome. The recovery of her body provided some closure to the ongoing search, but also highlighted the tragic nature of the incident. On July 14, 2020, the Ventura County Medical Examiner's Office released the autopsy report for Naya Rivera, shedding light on the circumstances surrounding her death. The report confirmed that Rivera's cause of death was an accidental drowning. This conclusion was based on the examination of her body and the absence of any evidence indicating trauma or intoxication. The autopsy findings provided a critical piece of information in understanding the tragic end of Rivera's life. The autopsy report indicated that there were no signs of injury or foul play. This detail was important in ruling out external factors that could have contributed to her death, narrowing the cause down to the drowning itself. Additionally, the report noted that there was no evidence of intoxication at the time of her death. To further clarify the factors surrounding Rivera's condition, the complete toxicology report was made public on September 11, 2020. This report provided a detailed account of substances found in Rivera's system at the time of her death. The toxicology results revealed the presence of small amounts of prescription medications, specifically amphetamine and diazepam. Amphetamine is commonly prescribed for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, while diazepam is used to treat anxiety. The report also noted the presence of caffeine in her system. One key aspect of the toxicology report was the negligible level of blood alcohol content detected in Rivera's system. The low blood alcohol concentration was not sufficient to indicate intoxication. The report emphasized that none of the substances found, including the prescription medications and caffeine, were at levels that would contribute to intoxication or impair her ability to respond to the situation in the lake. The autopsy and toxicology reports collectively suggested that Rivera's accidental drowning was not influenced by any significant impairment from substances. The findings pointed to drowning as the primary cause of death, with the absence of injuries or significant intoxication factors contributing to the conclusion. During the time of Naya Rivera's disappearance, her fans rallied around her, posting messages of support and concern across social media platforms. The outpouring of support reflected the deep impact Rivera had on her audience and the collective hope for her safe return. However, amidst this support, there were also moments of tension and frustration, particularly concerning the management of the search efforts and the involvement of civilians. As the search for Rivera continued, the Ventura County Sheriff's Office repeatedly appealed to the public not to conduct their own searches around the shore of Lake Piru. They were concerned that untrained individuals venturing into the rural and challenging terrain could face serious risks and potentially require rescue themselves. The rugged and often dangerous landscape surrounding the lake posed significant hazards, making it imperative that search operations be conducted by professionals with the proper equipment and expertise. Despite these warnings, some fans expressed frustration on social media, feeling that the efforts to find Rivera were not progressing quickly enough. This frustration was compounded by the sheriff's office's requests for people to stay away from the search areas. The tension between the urgency of the situation and the limitations imposed on public involvement highlighted the challenges faced in managing such a high-profile search operation. Heather Morris, Rivera's close friend and co-star from Glee, initially suggested she might conduct a personal search along the shoreline. However, in recognition of the risks involved, Morris joined the authorities in their plea for civilians to refrain from searching on their own. She acknowledged the potential dangers and the possibility that well-intentioned individuals might end up needing rescue themselves. Morris's decision to support the official search efforts underscored the importance of coordinated professional search operations in such critical situations. In response to the dangers associated with swimming in Lake Piru, a petition was started by fans shortly after Rivera's disappearance was reported. The petition aimed to address safety concerns by requesting the installation of warning signs around the lake. These signs would serve to alert visitors to the risks of swimming in the lake, potentially preventing similar incidents in the future. The initiative reflected the fans' desire to contribute positively and ensure that other visitors to the lake would be better informed about the hazards. Lea Michele, another actress from Glee, faced a particularly tumultuous period during this time. As the search for Rivera unfolded, Lea Michele found herself in a challenging position. Despite the heartfelt support and prayers posted by many of her former co-stars, Michele remained notably silent on social media regarding Rivera's disappearance. This silence did not go unnoticed and led to a considerable backlash from fans and the public who expressed their discontent through social media platforms. The context of Michele's silence was complicated by earlier controversies. In May and June 2020, Michele had faced significant criticism after several of her Glee co-stars accused her of unpleasant and, in some cases, racist behavior on set. This backlash had already led to a period of absence from social media, where Michele had avoided public interactions and scrutiny. Adding to the tension, Rivera herself had previously spoken out about her experiences with Michele. Rivera had described Michele as a difficult colleague and noted that their relationship had deteriorated by the end of the show's run. Despite these personal grievances, Rivera had clarified that there was no severe animosity or beef between them. However, the public's perception of their relationship was influenced by these earlier statements and Michele's subsequent silence. What do you think about Naya Rivera's death? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.